Well, gentlemen, hello and welcome to our first Black Tie live stream in what has been too long. So it is great to see all of you. Thank you for joining us this evening. We've got some things to celebrate and even more things to look forward to. And what better way than in proper black tie? So hopefully a few of you are joining me. And if not in proper black tie, then maybe with a nice drink and a cigar, as we will talk about here soon. So one of my favorite ways to open these black tie live streams up is, of course, to hear from all of you. And, you know, for you guys to just check in and let me know where you're watching from. So I've got my laptop right here, and I've got my phone right here with the chat pulled up. And it's always a pleasure to see who's watching and from where you're watching. Do we have audio? Yep, Reese is kept running in. It's making me nervous. So we've got audio, so that's good. So let's see. We've got watching from Iceland. Thank you for staying up late. We've got, Reggae from Charleston, South Carolina. Nate from Iowa. We've got Aries from Portland. We've got Mr. Lunchtime from Sydney. I don't have any idea what time it is, but it's probably tomorrow. James from Connecticut. We've got Greg from Edinburgh. And let's see, we've got Mahedid from Dallas. We're located in Dallas, so stop by the office sometimes. We've got Robert from Poland. It's late. We've got Ian Nichols from Boston, our good friend and leather worker at Frank Clegg. Mark from Sarasota. So there we go. We've got some Kentucky. I'm waiting for my friends from Hawaii, Germany, Maryland. I mean, what an honor. We really have such an incredible group of gentlemen here joining tonight. This really is a fraternity of those of discernment who appreciate quality craftsmanship and tradition. And of course, this is what we come together for on this channel, is the pursuit of that. It is driven from a passion. Of course, I have that passion. You all share that passion with me. It's why you're crazy and you spend this much time watching our YouTube channel. And I have to say, whenever we started this YouTube channel, never in my wildest imagination would I have thought that we would have hit 500,000 subscribers, and that I thought that, or would I have thought that I'd be here right now on a live stream, dressed in black tie, drinking some nice Ardbeg whiskey, and about to smoke an incredible cigar. So there's a few things that I wanted to cover with you all today on this live stream. We have about an hour, so I want to be respectful of everyone's time. And in that effort, or in that idea, I think let's light a cigar first. So, of course, thank you all for subscribing. And one of the best ways that you can support the work that we do here on this channel, of course, is by visiting KirbyAllison.com. But I think we also have Super Chat enabled, where you can donate money on this if you want to. 100% of that goes to support our ability to travel, and of course our Patreon, which we'll talk a little bit about that later. I don't want to plug too hard because this isn't an infomercial. This is a celebration. So, of course, you all know one of my great pleasures is the opportunity to light up a cigar and enjoy it in good company. And the only thing that makes good company even better is a great occasion. And here we are celebrating 500,000 subscribers. We've actually already hit 550,000 subscribers. So in the time that it took us to kind of pull this thing together, you know, we grew by 10%, which is pretty exciting. And I'm hoping that in 7 months' time, before I turn 40 in April, that we'll maybe be able to celebrate 1 million subscribers. So do your part there. Share this with your friends. So I thought tonight, of course, given that it's a special occasion, that it would be an opportunity to smoke something from my reserve selection of cigars. As everyone knows, it's increasingly difficult, if not all but impossible, to find Cuban cigars these days, given everything that's gone on with COVID and, of course, most recently with the hurricane. But I've got a few in my humidor that I'm holding on to for special occasions. And the cigar I'm going to smoke tonight is one of my favorite brands, Bolivar. And it's a cigar that really I hadn't had the opportunity to smoke until just recently. For whatever reason, in my short-sightedness, I never acquired any of these boxes before Habanos discontinued them. And that is the Bolivar Gold Medal. Now the Bolivar is one of my favorites. Yeah, I'll put this right there. It's a little bit of reflection. One of my favorite brands. I mean, Nick Vaux would describe it as really gamey and punchy. I find that, you know, if they've got a little bit of age, it's not the case with the single exception of the Petite Coronas, which really are punchy. But the rest of them I find really pleasurable to smoke. This is box dated October 2009. So this has quite a bit of age on it, so it should be an incredible smoke. So let's show you these. I don't want to spend too much time going through this ritual, but, you know, what's a ritual if not as an opportunity to embellish a moment? So we're going to smoke this. Now, what I like about this cigar, and honestly one of the things that led me to purchase it, is the fact that whenever I was in London over the summer, I had an opportunity to meet Gemma Friedman, who is the managing director of Hunters and Francois, the exclusive Cuban cigar importer. We filmed a brilliant interview with her that we're in the final stages of editing. It's an hour and 45 minutes edited, which is incredible. I mean, that's a very long interview. It was so good, and we couldn't cut anything out, so we're just going to release it in its extended form for all of you here on this YouTube channel. But she gave me as a gift this incredible Punch Exclusivo Gran Breton, of course, Great Britain. It is a gold medal wrapper, just like this Bolivar. And this was something that they had created in 2012 to commemorate the Summer Olympics that was held in London. So I had the opportunity to smoke this in London with Edward Sahakian and Jose, who is the Cuban or the Habanos representative who's attached to Hunters and Francois. This was one of the most incredible cigars I've ever smoked. And so I've got two. Well, I guess I had two. I've got one now. And that's what kind of inspired me to purchase this. So if you're smoking anything tonight, you know, please, you know, let me know in the comments section what that is. I'm trying to keep track of these things. They're just coming up so quickly. But something like this, you're going to take the gold wrapper off, of course. So let's do this. It's kind of almost depressing to pull this off. So here we are. There we go. So keep your questions coming. We are going to have plenty of time for that later. I don't want to be, it's like, you know, it's like it's like unwrapping a Christmas present. You just want to tear the thing off, but you risk damaging what it is that we're about to enjoy. So here we go. Beautiful Bolivar gold medal from 2009. Let's cut this. Now, everyone knows that I'm a big fan of the accoutrement. We've got some new accessories here at Kirby Allison. Of course, everyone is familiar with the El Casco cigar cutter, arguably one of my favorite. So I'm going to use this. It's really a foolproof cut. What I like about this is it's mechanical, right? So it has mechanical leverage, ensuring that you get a perfect cut every single time. And then we've just added some ST DuPont accessories onto the website. So this is our Slim 7 lighter. This is the perfect gentleman's pocket lighter. What I like about this is it's not too bulky. It's a torch, so it's appropriate for outside. And let's get this lit. So, you know, I'm going to try not to rush it. Let's see. Hello, everyone. How many do we have watching? We've got someone that donated 10 pounds. Thank you. Ooh, this thing, like, it's so small. It's like a mechanical feat. I'm afraid that this thing's going to explode on me one day. It's incredible that they make this work as small as it is. There we go. Good light. So we're going to set this up. And then another accessory that we just added. Again, check out the website. It's the best way to support this channel. This is ST DuPont. It's a guillotine, but it also turns into a cigar stand. So I originally thought this was a little bit gimmicky, but I have to say I've used it. It's a mainstay of my briefcase now, and I really get a lot of use out of it. So there we go. All right. Yep, I've had the Davidoff Yamasa, and Klaas Kellner, helped launched that cigar, and he gave me a box as a gift. Incredible cigar. Okay, so let's see. Wearing one of our white suspenders for your wedding this Saturday. Well, congratulations. Hello from Barbados. Let's see, what else? Thank you for your congratulations, John. Hello, Brazil, Marco. Thank you. We've got Ethan from Fort Worth right around the corner. So this is a 40 ring gauge, not too large, really perfect and very elegant format. So let's see. Man, that's amazing. I mean, the one thing for sure is with a little bit of an age, the Cuban cigars only get better. Wow, there we go. I'm just checking all these comments. We've got 524 of you guys watching. That's amazing. So first and foremost, we are here tonight celebrating 500,000 subscribers. I mean, it really is incredible. As you all know, here at Kirby Allison, we are committed to the pursuit, to the to the exploration of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. And whenever those three things align, you really are able to experience true magic, something that is well made, with a story, and that has longevity and durability to it, that allows it to be enjoyed, used over a long horizon of time. And it's that ability to use something, and to become familiar with it, and really to grow old with it, I suppose, that I enjoy most about things that are well made. The other thing that has really attracted me, and what continues to draw me in to this world of quality craftsmanship tradition, fundamentally are the people behind the craft. At the end of the day, this is what it's about. Whenever you purchase something that's well made, or you commission something that's made from someone, you're really honoring that person, their life, and their talents. Something that is made by hand is the product of a person who has dedicated themselves to excellence. And through our channel, one of my great goals is to be able to showcase that, to draw back the curtain, if you will, to this hidden world where these things are done exceptionally well. And even if it's not something that you're able to perhaps purchase yourself, even just being able to see it done, learning more about how it's done, to me brings, at least myself, a great enjoyment. That's right. Seven Lights, thank you for watching. I think that this is a good segue. Seven Lights, I think, comments was the Anthony Bourdain of the sartorial world. And I think that is really, as we've grown as a channel, something that's been kind of interesting to see kind of come together for us. I mean, in the beginning, we first started, thank you, Tim, for your generous donation of $55. Again, 100% of all this is going to help support something I'm going to talk about here soon, as with our Patreon. We've got someone from Mexico, Puebla, Mexico. My wife's from Mexico City. We've got someone from Mexico City, so there we go. We've got someone from South Korea. I mean, we really look at this, people from all around the world. So whenever we first started out, it's hard to believe that it was just shoe shine videos. Back in the beginning, it was just firing up the cameras, shining a pair of shoes. There was no aesthetic to the channel. There was not much intentionality to it. And to be completely honest, we had no idea what we were doing. I mean, this is how things all begin, I suppose, at least, with us here. And it was amazing. Let's see, we've got someone else, Brad. To see me around George, some of the George Washington stuff around the East Coast. Well, I'd love to go to the East Coast. So continuing this thought. So that's how it started, shoe shine tutorials. And then, of course, I've always been passionate about, bespoke shoes and bespoke tailoring, just shoes and suits for that matter. It doesn't have to be bespoke. And then so we'd have people passing through Dallas. We started filming videos with them about having things made. Then it evolved into us actually being able to afford a little bit of a travel budget to go visit these people. And then now with some of our recent work, as you've all seen, it's really kind of developed into a full-blown, almost mini travel series. And so the idea and the reason Anthony Bourdain, I think, is an interesting benchmark is because, he was exploring the world of food but through travel and regionally. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it was about meeting people. And so as we continue to evolve as a channel, and as we look to 2023, I really want to see more travel and more intentional travel. We've already begun to work some of this into the channel. Of course, we had the From Suit to Shoot series that we filmed with Simon Cundy of Henry Poole. That saw us travel to the United Kingdom and Scotland 4 times to film that series. And then just recently, we were in Goodwood, and I think we have some pictures here, Reese, if you want to pull them up, of us actually going to the Goodwood Revival. We were invited by the Duke of Richmond to come and experience this. This is the greatest vintage race car event in the world. And so, in addition to seeing these incredible vintage automobiles being raced, pushing them to the nines, it's also a vintage kind of revival in and of itself, where everyone takes the opportunity to dress up in vintage clothing of that era. And this was an incredible, that's James Cottingham. We had an opportunity to follow him on his journey to Goodwood. He was racing some vintage automobiles at this race. That's me going around on one of the parade laps in his Ferrari. And so it was an absolutely incredible event. And I couldn't be more excited about bringing that content out. And then, I guess over the summer, that was most recent, and then slightly before that, before we went to Goodwood, we had the opportunity to go to Mallorca to visit Carmina Shoemaker, and of course that video just came out. That's us with Carmina, the granddaughter with Alejandro or Sandro, her uncle, and her grandfather right there, who works in the factory 1 or 2 days a week. And so again, this incredible company with incredible history, practicing really what is an ancient tradition of shoemaking to the absolute highest level. So that's been fun to be able to travel and actually see these places and share them with all of you. And so, to kind of take a little bit of a break, I'd like to kind of hear from you all what you've thought of some of our more recent videos, what you've liked most, and what you'd like to see more of. So, let's see. Spartacus Capital, that's a great kind of daily smoke. Yes, Nick Fowkes and Sons, what did you think of the vintage shopping event with Max? What great fun that video was to film. It was absolutely incredible. The suit video, the suit to shoot, I would imagine that you're talking about. Yes, for me and Eddie Sahakian to go to Cuba. This is on my bucket list. We'll talk about that in a moment. We'll talk a little bit about what we want to do next year. So, Whiskey Juice, will there be a final 14 video from Shoot to Suit? Yes, it will, and it's coming out this Saturday. So, this is really the culmination of the entire weekend. Was us, going on this shoot and then coming back to the country house, having a dinner of a pheasant, of course, and then gathering around the fire and talking about what is quality, craftsmanship, and tradition, and how is it still relevant today. So this was an absolutely incredible conversation. We had people representing 4 different companies. We had Lovett Mill, Henry Poole, Purdy, and then, of course, am I forgetting anyone? Me. So there we go. The Huntsman suit from 2019 was unfortunately a COVID casualty, so that commission fell through. So this is coming out this weekend, and I have to say, that series was really absolutely incredible. Talk about a lot of work. And so this goes back to, kind of our ambition, which is to have more of this. Now, anyone that watches the channel hopefully can say that we're just not a standard YouTube channel. There's a lot of people producing content on YouTube, and I would like to think that there are few doing it to the quality standard that we aspire to. Hopefully we achieve every once and again. And then also doing it in long format like we are. A lot of our videos that we're releasing weekly are 45, 55, hour and a half. And so the amount of time and money, that goes into filming and editing these pieces is really quite exceptional. So with that said, of course, the best way that you can support the work that we film here at Kirby Allison is by visiting the website, kirbyallison.com, where you'll find, of course, the largest selection of luxury garment care and shoe care accessories in the world, as well as other great clothing accessories. And one of the newest ways to support the work is by joining our Patreon. So I'd like a moment and kind of talk to you all about this. I was a little reticent to launch a Patreon because, of course, I don't want to feel like I'm, kind of holding my hand out for money that would be in bad taste. But that said, some of our most popular content and the content that we are frequently requested the most to film is the travel content. And there just is a functional limit to what we can support for a travel budget just out of marketing, right? And so the idea is that, through the Patreon, we're going to be raising money exclusively for the purpose of travel. So we actually don't even withdraw the money from the Patreon until we have a specific purpose to use it. And the Patreon comes with a few benefits. Of course, access. It's all about access. We've got several different levels starting at just $5 a month. $5 a month, you get the personal satisfaction that you are supporting the content that we're filming here on KirbyAllison.com. Sorry, I'm taking a draw of my cigar right now. And so the idea is that anyone that's a member of our Patreon, we want you involved in the content that we're filming, voting on locations, making suggestions, behind-the-scene photographs, and just kind of an inside scoop of what's going on. At the lieutenant level, which is our second level, we're offering a 5% discount on all orders, right? And then again, the opportunity to be invited to Patreon-only live streams and Q&As. At captain level, which is $25 a month, you have VIP access to meet and greets, a $50 one-time gift certificate to the website, plus everything else. And it goes all the way up from there to, our field marshal, which, for, what is it, $500 a month, which I have to say I'm really flattered. We actually have a few. Not only are you meaningfully supporting the content that we're filming, but you get a standing 15% discount on all orders, free shipping, the invitation to a Patreon member-only private dinner that we'll hold once a year, and some interesting kind of products and swags and other things like that. So anyway, the Patreon's out there. Of course, we've got the Super Chat right now and other things. Edward, me and Eddie Sahakian going to the Festival of Habanos in Cuba. This is on my bucket list. Surprisingly, I've never been to Cuba. And of course, it's a dream of mine to be able to go. And then, we'd love to have the Sahakians come here to Dallas. They say that once I finish my walk-in humidor, that they're going to come and help me christen it, or let's say inspect it, and to make sure that it is functionally properly. Ah, what a splendid cigar. I'm going to need more time. The other thing that we're working on, of course, is growing our selection of products. So we have a video coming out soon where basically, is this in focus, where we developed a bespoke fragrance with a florist in London on Jermyn Street. This is called Waterloo. This is basically a kind of a first draft, if you will, at a Kirby Allison fragrance that we're going to be collaborating with them on. Anyone that's a member of our Patreon, I think at the general level or above, gets a free bottle of this. So again, interesting things coming out. Now let's see. Citrus and grapefruit florist, one of my favorite. Of course, we sell florists on the website. So Fellini, this is a great question, and this is, I guess, where I was ultimately going a bit earlier, which is, where is it that we plan to go to next? And so everyone knows that we've spent a lot of time in the United Kingdom, particularly London. I think that there are few areas of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition in London that we haven't already covered. Now, we could continue to go back to London indefinitely. It is, of course, one of my favorite cities in the world. I really feel at home there. But I think it's a time. Dwayne Gilbert, our good friend. Dwayne is a commensurate gentleman, and it's nice to see Dwayne pop in on the channel. He's got some of the best dressed children. Tell Jay hello. Same age as my son, Nathaniel. But so we've done London. We've done a little bit of content in Paris. We filmed there this summer. We did a private tour at Berluti in their bespoke department. We filmed a beautiful walking tour with Julian DeLuca of Comps DeLuca. Fortunately, we weren't able to film with Charvet. Still working on that. But everyone knows that whenever it comes to menswear, next to London, and we'll see what you think in the comments section below, where would you really think that the next, if you were, you know, kind of capital of menswear would be? So we're going to let you guys vote on this. Not vote on this, but take your guess in the comments. I'm taking a look right now. So we've got Tokyo, we've got Italy, logically, Japan, Italy, Japan, Italy, Milan, Italy, Japan, Milan, Naples, so Italy, Dubai. I'm not quite sure about that. We did visit Cortez in Paris, their bespoke department. We have a beautiful tour coming out. So Mexico, well, we hope to do some content in Mexico sometime soon. They are just right next door. So let's see. You know, Paris, well, we've got some stuff with Paris. You know, we really should do something with the Brooks Brothers and Armory in the New York. We were just there. We filmed with Carmina at the boutique on Madison Avenue. We filmed with Eric Jensen again. Well, I think that you guys have kind of hit the nail on the head. Really, the next big trip I want to organize is a proper trip to Italy. There is no question that this is long overdue. It's surprising to many, and for good reason, that we haven't filmed any content in Italy yet. And the simple reason for this is just that I haven't had the occasion to go to Italy. I mean, our product development and other work takes me to London, so it was just a very natural place for us to begin filming. There's no language barrier. But I think that in 2023, we really need a proper trip to Italy. And I think it's an opportunity to take everything that we've learned, you know, the new cameras that we've invested in, all of just our, you know, kind of our lessons that we've learned on how to do this craft better, which, you know, we basically have, you know, basically self-taught ourselves, if you will. And to do it Italy. Now the idea, and I'm still in negotiations with my wife on how I'm going to pull this off, is to do a proper 3-week trip in the month of June to Italy. And the idea is that we really want to film this as though it was a Netflix series where we start in Milan in the north of Italy and work our way all the way down to Rome in the south. So we would want to hit Milan, of course, maybe visiting Caraceni, of course, Maglia Francesca, who does the umbrellas. Thank you, Brad. Cheers to you. And then maybe driving down to Como, visiting some of the fabric mills there, maybe seeing if we could stay at Villa d'Este and explore that beautiful property. I think it'd be fun to visit Riva Yachts, of course, you know, the iconic yachts that you see on Lake Como, doing their boats at the absolute highest level. Then continuing on to Florence, maybe visit with Stefano Bimmer in their workshop. He's got not just a shoemaking school, but a tailoring school there. You know, learning about everything in Florence. And then continuing on, of course, to Naples, maybe visiting with Rubinacci and some of the other tailors there. And then ending in Rome, maybe visiting with Gallo, of course, Eric Jensen. Sartoria Gallo is based in Rome. Maybe visiting the Vatican. We don't know. So, you know, we are just now really kind of coming together with this. I mean, it's a kind of an audacious plan, if you will, massive scope, and just the resources in order for us to be able to do a proper Italy trip. I mean, it would easily cost us, and it's kind of shocking and almost maybe even embarrassing to say, but it would be at least $50,000 for us to be able to do that proper. And that's just the travel, right? I mean, we travel with a crew of 4. We've got all of the cameras. We'd have to have transportation. And so this is something, of course, that I really want to do. We'll do it anyway. But your support through our Patreon just helps make that happen faster, easier, and hopefully will allow us the resources to create an even better series. So take a look at our Patreon, of course, and then, you know, if that's not your gig, make sure you visit KirbyAllison.com. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. I'm really fascinated to know what it is that you would like to see us film in Italy. You know, understanding that we can't do everything, we'd have to be selective and intentional. You know, where, who are the, the artisans, the companies, the small workshops that you think really represent Italian craftsmanship at its best? And what stories would you like to see us film? This is an incredible cigar, and now that it is warming up. Marinella, Ties in Naples, that is a great suggestion that wasn't on my list. You know, Brioni, some of the big guys, you know, we'd like to see them. We'd like to visit, VBC, the fabric mill. Of course, they do, drapers and a lot of other absolutely incredible rum. I think it would be fun to visit a winery, of course, you know, doing great work. Traditional pizza in the oldest pizzeria in the world. Naples makes some of the best pizza I've ever eaten, and so that is a great idea as well. Paul, great seeing you. Thanks for joining us. Let's see, what else? Acme Shoemaker, I don't know them. We'll look into them. Brunello, Cucinelli, of course. Canali. Testoni Shoes, not too sure about that one, but good suggestion. Are there any Italian watchmakers you'd suggest? And violin makers, again, who is it in Italy that you think is doing a really interesting work there? This is absolutely exceptional. Rubinacci's on our list. I really do need to reach out to Luca and talk to him about this. Olive oil, that was another interesting one. The Dorito Factory. Just checking this out. You know, the other thing that would be really fun is to somehow, get access to a nice classic car to travel Italy in. If anyone knows anyone that has something they'd like to lend, let me know. And what else? Beretta? Yeah, that's another great suggestion. Well, you know, KVB is asking how I enjoyed my new shotgun. You know, I'd like to be able to say that I purchased that set of Purdy's, but at $250,000, I would have gotten divorced as well. So not quite there yet, you know, still struggling to build this company, right? We need to double our size, you know, this next year. I mean, you know, of all the companies, I mean, we really, gosh, you know, exiting 2019, we had the most incredible momentum in the entire world. I mean, we were, you know, producing some incredible content, some travel stuff. We'd just really kind of come into our own, you know, in the London content, and we're just having great fun. We've released, you know, the Huntsman New York piece. We released the John Lobb St. James piece with John Lobb proper. You know, the business was doing great, and then COVID hit. And I have to say, we were certainly not COVID winners. And so that's been a very difficult 2 years, and so we're still recovering from that. So your support is appreciated. Australia, you know, I don't think we're going to make it to Australia anytime soon. Just simply too far. John, thank you. Zach, Alexander Kraft. Well, you know, if we do Italy, maybe Alexander Kraft is someone that we could connect with and film something with. I think a walking tour with Alexander would be great. More wristwatch content. So just last night, we filmed a really interesting video on 6 of the most iconic fountain pens of the 20th century. We collaborated with someone on that. It was an interesting piece. We do want to do watch content. Nathan, hello from Brazil. Thank you for watching. So I'm just looking at your comments right here. So what's your recommendation for a young man graduating college and first entering the workforce for a budget to buy quality over quantity items? Well, you know, what I always say is figure out your budget and then try to find the highest quality item for that budget as possible. So it's hard to give you advice without knowing what that budget is. Kent and Haste, we've got more content coming out there. The suits were incredible. I'd say Davidge, Davidge.com, he made the smoking jacket. He made this shirt, the tuxedo shirt I'm wearing. It's made from a David John Anderson DJA 330x3, which is one of the finest kind of fabrics. The Craft Mobile, yes, that's what we need. You know, really what we need is, I think, Crafty's Bentley. You know, I think that that's really kind of how I want to be traveling Italy. And so if anyone knows, I've just got a direct line to Alexander, please make that suggestion for me. Beretta's a great idea. Yeah, 550,000 subscribers, really quite something. So show and tell. Cobbler Union, where would I place Cobbler Union and TLB vis-a-vis Carmina? Yeah. So this is an interesting question that we get a lot. I mean, you know, in full disclosure, I mean, Carmina helped pay for us to go to Mallorca. It was the only way that we could have made that trip. But, you know, Carmina is a brand that we'd been working with long before that. And, you know, what I appreciate about Carmina is just the fact that it is a multi-generational family of shoemakers that really approach shoe manufacturing in a shoemaker's tradition. And hopefully for those that watched that factory tour, give me a thumbs up if you've watched that factory tour. I'd like to see that here. I think that that really comes out in that video. The other thing that I really appreciate about Carmina is that because it's been around for 30 years in its current form, that they've been able to really develop the company in such a way that they have an incredibly wide variety of models. They've got an exceptional made-to-order program where you can commission a one-on-one. And online, you know, they've got this 3D customization tool where you can actually build out your own pair of dress shoes and see the shoe, you know, being made in 3D. And it's really quite incredible, to be honest. So it's kind of like going to, you know, BMW and kind of, you know, building out your dream car or Mercedes, which I probably would go with over BMW. So what is Boomy? Alex Mortimer. What do they make? I'm not familiar with them. Just got off the phone with Stu from Ray Fabric Care about the bespoke piece. So Gary, I think we spoke on the phone earlier today. Of course, Stu at Ray Fabric Care, we've actually just added them with a credit in all of the descriptions of our video. I mean, Stu really takes good care of me. I send all my dry cleaning to him. It's crazy. But he's the best dry cleaners in the nation, probably one of the best in the world, but certainly the best in this country. And if you have anything that is important, the only person I would trust that to is Stu. Whenever it comes to pressing, he's got one person who is dedicated to the craft of pressing. There is a true craft there. And so they can press a bespoke suit just as well as you know, a cutter at a bespoke suit company. You know, what I drive for a car, you know, again, I've got 3 kids that are in private school, so you know, I'm in a Honda. No, I'm not in a Honda. I'm in a Tesla Model 3, but such a great cigar. I don't want to put this out. Do I prefer Charvet or Bud for off-the-rack shirts? It's a good question. I probably would go with Bud for off-the-rack. I mean, sure. I mean, it's like potatoes. I mean, they're both exceptional companies. Charvet has an absolutely incredible product. I'm not familiar with their off-the-rack shirts just because I've been such a long-standing bespoke customer of Charvet. Well, I mean, Roger Smith, that would be fun. I mean, again, all we need are the proper introductions. We get enough members of our Patreon, and you'll see us traveling a lot more. So, is the low frames per second on your side? I don't know, Reese. What do we add on frames per second? I mean, this is the first time we're live streaming on these new cameras. There is a little bit of a delay kind of in my monitor, but I'm not really sure where that's coming from. So Paul, to be completely frank, the cause of our recent success on YouTube, well, we've got a new editing studio that's based out of Bangkok, Thailand, and kind of a partner of ours that we've been able to build a relationship with. And they're really responsible for the bump in quality that you've seen. I mean, all the animations, what is really broadcast or cinematic quality editing comes from them. I mean, the amount of time and energy that goes in to editing these pieces, I have to say, is really exceptional. And they've done a great job in terms of pushing us to really develop our own craft, right? And so that's been it. Of course, our film crew, they do an incredible job filming. Reese, who's actually here from Ireland, he's in the back room just on the other side of this wall running this live stream. He's kind of our director of cinematography. And so he's the one that kind of helps us organize and plan all of these shoots. I mean, he was almost exclusively responsible for us being able to put together that Shoot to Suit series. And then, he's doing great work. We've invested significantly in our equipment. We just got new cameras that I have to say are of a professional quality. I mean, we've always been professional quality. One of these days, we're going to film a video on kind of our kit, but we've really invested a lot in that recently. I'm not a huge fan of Nicaraguan cigars. I think that they need a little bit of age. Bourbon, my favorite bourbon is probably just a simple Woodford Reserve. I have to say I really love that. Let's see, favorite fountain pen. Well, you are going to have to hold for the video that we filmed. Aiden, of course, is, he's, I guess, kind of teeing up that question because Aiden Chow, who you see right there, you should let everyone know what your Instagram handle is actually the gentleman that we helped, that we collaborated with in the filming of this video. He actually lent us 4 pens from his personal collection that are 4 of the most iconic models of the 20th century. And he's got an Instagram page where he restores and sells vintage fountain pens, and he's unfortunately responsible for costing me a lot of money. Just like I kind of do this to all of you, he's been doing this to me. I would love for you to send me some bourbon, Brad. Email customer service and we'll let you know our address. Charles Tywit, actually, it's an interesting question. I think they do a great job. I mean, we talk about on a budget. If you're on a budget, Charles Tywit, you really can't go wrong with. The Padrones are amazing. Everything needs a little bit of age. All right, let's talk a little bit about merchandise, right? Now, it's no secret here that the purpose of this YouTube channel, in a lot of ways, is a marketing funnel to drive people to KirbyAllison.com, where we have the largest collection of luxury garment care and shoe care accessories in the world. Saphir shoe polish, our Wellington shoe shine accessories, and other great clothing accessories for the well-dressed, like this bow tie, these studs, the silk socks that I'm wearing. I mean, if it's an accessory, you can find that on KirbyAllison.com. And I would like to think that we pursue and seek out the highest quality accessories, right? We call it our sovereign grade, all of the elements of quality that matter, but none of the superfluous ones that really unnecessarily drive up the cost of an accessory. So I would also like to think that everything that we sell on our website is ultimately a great value for what it is that you are acquiring. We've got some new accessories here that I wanted to talk about. We've got some new cigar knife. So this is actually a cigar cutter. It's Les Fins Lames. It's based in France, and they make these little cigar pocket knives. It's a cigar cutter and a pocket knife. Great accessory. We've just added some gloves, some sovereign grade gloves. You can find these on the website, right? Reese, you can pull that up in a minute. This is some peccary gloves. We've got these in several colors, both unlined, which you know, the Italians really describe as the king of gloves because of just how soft it is. This is a beautiful leather. If you were to invest in a pair of gloves, this would really be what I would go for. But we also have a beautiful Napa leather glove. This is a very formal glove. We've got it in several colors. Again, both lined in silk and cashmere. And we've been growing our collection of braces. So in my sartorial kind of evolution, you know, I've started having all of my trousers cut high-waisted for braces. That basically means that without these things holding your trousers up, if you were to take them off, the trousers would, you know, fall down to your lower hips. The virtue there is that this is really how your trousers should be made. In terms of longevity, they're more comfortable because the trousers float around your waist, right? Because they really should be cut, you know, maybe pushing 2 inches larger than what you would otherwise have cut. And this allows for enhanced comfort, better drape, and then also as your weight kind of fluctuates, I mean all of our weights kind of ebbs and flows, it allows the trousers to fit without ever becoming tight. So these are some great accessories. We've got box cloth, but we also have you know, some beautiful you know, well, these aren't silk, but I don't know, Barathea, I forget what it's called, but braces in other colors. This is pink. So we've recently added a bunch of colors for us, of course, kind of all made for us, and other great accessories. I mean, so you really have to kind of check out online. Of course, we're back in stock on hangers. You know, I mean, hangers were really difficult during COVID, just with kind of everything happening in China. Connor, it's not okay that you look at pictures of my feet. Let's see. Dense, yes. A great brand. Favorite dress shoes, casual. This is long questions. You guys aren't open. Just left you a voicemail. You have a bottle of bourbon coming to you. Thank you, Brad. Yep, we're not open. We're filming. And let's see, you know, what else? Looking at your comments right now, I mean, again, if you've got your questions, ask them. We've got 600 of you watching. Max asking, you know, when are we coming back to London? Well, I've been grounded by my wife. You know, we didn't travel for really 18 months during COVID. The travel content was kind of some of our best. I mean, it's what I enjoy filming the most. And so once all of the COVID restrictions lifted up, we really took the opportunity to travel as much as we could. And as you see that right now, kind of in the just in the absolute kind of waterfall of incredible content that we're publishing right now. If you haven't seen or noticed, I mean, all of the content that we've been publishing recently has all exclusively been travel content. There's hardly been any in-studio work. You know, the in-studio stuff, of course, is the easier content to film. It's more controlled. Belt or suspenders, we call them braces, without question, braces. And let's see. So anyway, so now that we're kind of, Reese is back here, we've been filming more content in the studio, so we're going to be bringing that to you here soon. And let's see, is it common to light shoe polish on fire to heat it up so that it soaks into leather? Not really. We actually have a Shine by Mail service that we offer here out of Dallas. Andre, come by. Maybe you can do some holiday customer service for us. So Paco, I imagine that you're referring to the Gentlemen's Clubs of London, not the American variety of Gentlemen's Club, which I guess also would land me in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I mean, in London, I mean, one of the things that I love most about London is, you know, there's a good friend of mine, you know, has a saying that, you know, anytime that you get two British gentlemen together, they begin formulating rules on how to keep the third out. Britain is an incredibly exclusive society just by culture in terms of class and everything else. And so one of the things that I really find special about London is it's the only city in the world that you could spend an entire weekend and never set foot into a private or public establishment. You could stay at your private club. I'm a member of the Carlton Club on St. James's Street. You could stay at Boodle's or Brooks's or any one of the incredible clubs. The Royal Automobile Club, we have a tour with Simon Cundy that should be coming out soon. The Travelers Club in London. You could stay at any of those clubs. You could go dine at your private club like Oswald's. Any of the gentlemen's clubs also have restaurants. And then you could go out and kind of drink and smoke at your private club. Of course, there's Harry's Bar, there is Mark's Club, there's Hertford Street, there's Annabelle's. And so all these places are private clubs. It just is an interesting and unique cultural element to London that I find incredibly unique to that city. The Kon-Tiki is incredible. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of trouble with mold and lost about half of my box. But the rest have been recovered and are sitting away in my humidor. And I'm not smoking them as often as I would like to because they are dwindling in number. Let's see, what crystal am I drinking from? This is some Waterford crystal. It's actually a cut crystal. It's leaded crystal, which is different than glass. Anyone that doesn't smoke, let's see if we can hear that. I don't know if you can hear that, but there is a very distinct audible difference or acoustic difference in cut crystal than glass. And again, it's just one of those small details. It's the accessories that heighten one's enjoyment of anything. A nice whiskey, in this case, Scotch whiskey, in a proper crystal glass is better than in a glass highball, just in the way that a glass proper highball is better than plastic. And this was my grandmother's pattern. Do I think society will return to wearing more formal clothing? It's an interesting question. I hope so. I don't think that it'll ever be like what it was, but I'd like to think that for those that, really have a heightened kind of discernment, that, gentlemen take the opportunity to dress up more often. Again, I really enjoy it. Let's see what else. We're kind of rounding out the hour here. We've got dinner reservations at Bob's Steakhouse here soon. We'll take Reese for a nice steak dinner before he heads back to Ireland tomorrow. Make sure he's full and in a food coma. So we're going to have to wrap this up soon, but continue to ask some questions. In one of your previous videos, you talked about doing a video on this Cuban cigar that you got from Cigar One called the Vagueros. Have I done it? I don't really recall that. Are we going to see more Kentace? Yes, we're working on editing the first and second fittings. We've got the final fitting done, so we've really got some great stuff there. We need to get those going. The Ramona Yones Perfecto Exclusivo Mexico. I did smoke one of those. My only kind of criticism is that, there were a lot of them that were plugged. Favorite restaurant in Dallas? I'm not a man of favorites. Steak. A nice kind of a New York strip. It's probably one of my favorites. Medium, not medium rare, but just because of all the extra kind of fat content. Opinion on monogramming items. You can over monogram. Whatever you do, don't put a monogram on your shirt cuff. It really does belong kind of right here. Hello from Liverpool, thank you. Favorite movies that exude the spirit of your channel? That's a good question. I really enjoy a lot of the older movies. Let's see, calf over Cordovan, yes. I'm a big calfskin fan. I'm not a huge Cordovan guy. Favorite whiskey brand? Again, I kind of spoke about this earlier. I think a nice just, Willet or a, I said this earlier, a Woodford Reserve. You really can't go wrong with any of those. Not exceptionally expensive. Do I rely on Scotch to cleanse the palate? I do spend a little bit extra time brushing my teeth after I smoke. Whiskey or whiskey? I don't know. What else? I'm a cummerbund guy. I've never been a big waistcoat fan for black tie. I think the cummerbund is elegant, it's traditional. We have a great video on the rules of black tie, and I kind of go through all these in detail. So first Saphir products were bought from the Hanger Project. Thank you. Continue to purchase all of your Saphir products here on Kirby Allison and not on Amazon. We don't make any money on anything you buy from Amazon, and so I would very strongly discourage against that. Of course, with us you have to pay for shipping, but it's the small cost of supporting a small business, and of course for supporting the content that we have here on this channel. Kurt, this is a Bolivar Gold label from 2009 I'm smoking. Really special cigar. White tie occasions coming up. We really don't do white tie much here in America. I've been to like only one white tie event in my life. We'd like to cover that a little bit more. You know, enjoyable as it is oftentimes, do you ever get tired of the process of dressing up? You know, the other thing I'd say that sometimes I find a little tiring is shaving in the morning. Although I really enjoy my shaving ritual. We've got an incredible category of shaving accoutrement on KirbyAllison.com. Of course, I shave with a double-edged safety razor, with a badger brush. We've got some incredible sovereign grade brushes on the website. A nice shave cream is something that I enjoy, but you know, the process of getting ready in the morning, it really takes the most amount of time. You know, dressing up really is not that hard. As long as you're investing in items of quality, you have, you know, your wardrobe is full of the classics. I mean, putting on a suit and tie is really not that difficult. You know, Fuente makes some great cigars. Glenn Gray, greetings from Lakeland, Florida. Our cobbler, Jim, is based in Lakeland. Cryptocurrency for payments, nope, but what do I wear casually? It's funny, I'm a little bit of an outlier there. You know, I wear a nice pair of chinos or a nice pair of shorts. David has done some great shorts for me. You know, I'm always in a long-sleeved button-up shirt and a nice pair of dress shoes. The slack jacket that, of course, David made one for me, but Alan Flesser also made a great one. Did anyone enjoy a cigar with you at the Scotland shoot? I think I was the only one smoking. So let's see what else. Well, gentlemen, here we are. We're kind of rounding out the top of the hour. Of course, we could go on with this for hours, but I think that we might have to push this to a close. If you're just now tuning in, of course, all of this is going to be archived on YouTube. You can rewind, watch it over again. Hopefully we'll be doing this again soon, maybe for 750,000 subscribers. And hopefully for 1 million subscribers, we're going to be in Monte Carlo. We'll get the old gang together and reunite there and hopefully film some great content. The stuff with Davidoff, I mean, what a pleasure to film. I mean, their stuff's incredible. We've got some other great stuff coming out. Can't blow any circles because we've got, I guess our air filtration is too effective here. 1 million subscribers should be white tie. You're probably right. Good old Brian O'Toole. I had the pleasure of meeting Brian and his charming girlfriend in New York at the Carmina event. And that was a great event for those that were able to join. Of course, unfortunately, the weather was terrible. It was raining. And so there weren't as many people there as I would have otherwise liked. But hopefully, we'll do it again. Let's see. Ending on the top 5 this year. That's a good question. It's a nice kind of way to end. You know, top 5 this year. You know, I think rounding out the suit to shoot was a big milestone and accomplishment. Of course, my first bespoke suit from Henry Poole. I mean, it was my first proper Savile Row suit. Was really incredible. You know, just the time in London, you know, with good friends, smoking cigars, enjoying kind of nice company and nice dinner. That was, without question, kind of a big milestone. The Carmina shoot in Mallorca was a lot of fun. I had the opportunity to take my family with me. I think that they really enjoyed just the history of that island. That's 3. John Lobb, St. James, we're working on a new series with them where they're making a pair of shoes for me. That's pretty exciting. I don't know what else. So there we go. 500,000 subscribers. There we are. Well, I'm dressed in black tie, so I'm not wearing anything on my wrist. One should not, or abstain. One should abstain from wearing a watch when dressed in black tie because you shouldn't be. Lee Miller, thank you. Basil, how did I forget Lee Miller? Gosh, that series with Lee was incredible. I really think that we did something of historical significance there in terms of documenting in the most thorough manner that I know to have been done at all ever on YouTube. The process of creating a pair of handmade cowboy boots. That piece really was absolutely incredible. And it was an exceptionally long project. I mean, we spent, I think in total, 5 full days filming with Lee just on the making of the boots themselves. And those boots were absolutely, really absolutely exceptional. So, I mean, what a privilege to be able to acquire a pair of boots from Lee Miller. I mean, his wait list, he doesn't even have a list, right? I mean, it's basically closed. He's so booked up. But to be able to experience Lee, to film with him, for him to take the time to allow us to disrupt his day to film was an incredible gift on his part. And I really think that Lee's great legacy will be, what he's done to really advocate for the craft itself. So, the yak hair brushes, we're working on, we've had them made. They're waiting for us where we're at the factory. And, it's funny. I mean, it's kind of the trials and tribulations of business. We've had them picked up by FedEx twice and returned to us twice to the factory because of insufficient documentation, which, I've got no idea what it was that we didn't provide. And so I think that, finally we've figured this out. We're going to pay a little bit more money to get these things in through a broker. And so hopefully they will be here within a few weeks. This is only getting better. Cuba trip with the Sahakians. A guitar player, I'd say join our Patreon and help support that endeavor. We spoke a little bit earlier about a trip to Italy, and I have to say that is something that I'm looking forward to hopefully putting together in June. It's going to require a lot of work. I mean, for me to get away for 3 weeks is going to be quite challenging. Negotiating with my wife, hopefully she'll be able to accompany me on this trip. And then, what do we do with 3 kids for 3 weeks? I mean, they can't accompany us for 3 weeks in Italy. That would just be unrealistic. And so I think we're going to try to get the 2 older children in a summer camp. If you have any contacts with a good summer camp here in the United States, let me know. And hopefully we get that lined up so that we can make it out to take that trip. Blue check on the shooting suit, incredible. So there we go. I said I answered earlier, I prefer calfskin over cordovan, but that's just a personal preference. Good hairbrush. I mean, anything from the pharmacy, local, CVS is sufficient there. So there we go, gentlemen. We're at an hour, a little bit over, and here we are, 500,000 subscribers. Hopefully, it'll be 1 million here before soon. And that just kind of helps us as we grow, continue to produce better and better content. I mean, we do monetize all of the videos on YouTube. 100% of that money, of course, goes to cover just the extraordinary costs of running this studio. As you all know, we really take pride in producing videos of the absolute highest quality. I really feel that it is a responsibility of ours to produce professional quality videos in order to honor the artisans and the brands with whom we're allowed to film. I couldn't imagine showing up to a place like John Lobb in London with an iPhone or a cheap camera, and so we want to continue to kind of push that forward, and who knows, maybe one day you'll see us on television. So if you know anyone at Netflix that is looking for a new series, make sure that you take the opportunity to send them a link to our channel. Of course, you all know I'm Kirby Allison. The best way to support the content that we film here on this channel is by visiting KirbyAllison.com, where you'll find the largest collection of luxury garment care and luxury shoe care accessories in the world, as well as other exceptional accoutrement for the well-dressed, accessories, socks, braces, ties, pocket squares, and so much more. This is really the best way to support our content. Of course, this YouTube studio comes out of our marketing budget, and I have to say, it is not a small amount of money that we spend in order to bring you this content. And there's a lot of people behind the scenes helping support that. Our friends in Bangkok, my good friend Francis, who is very generous in terms of everything that he helps us out with. And then, of course, our staff that help us film these videos, and the staff here in Dallas, Addison at customer service, Vanessa and Eddie in the warehouse. None of this would be possible without them. So, actually, to end this, I want to toast to those people, of course, my wife and family who support me and everything that I do. Reese, Vanessa, Eddie, Addison, Francis, the entire Bangkok team, Jonathan. Without all these people, none of this would be possible. And of course, all of you here that watch our channel, that subscribe, that comment on the videos. I really do read those comments. One of my great pleasures is staying up late at night, kind of scrolling through comments. And so, if you're commenting early on in a video after it's been released, there's an almost certain chance that I'm reading that, and I do try to respond to as many of those as possible. And gentlemen, if you're drinking something, let's raise it in cheers to quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. Of course, I'm Kirby Allison, and I love to help the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes while exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. So here's cheers to all of you.